Hello and welcome to episode 75. That's 75 in a row of Flesh and Pod. My name is Logan. I'm your host. And with me, as always, is Darick. Darick, did you do anything in Flesh and Blood this week? Do you have a functional right arm?
My right arm is not fully functional yet, but I'm getting a lot of mobility back. The big win for me is actually a lot of the nerve pain has calmed down. There is still some, and I still definitely have some numbness, but like the really extreme nerve pain that I had has mostly settled. So for my armory, traditionally my LGS area, they do it on like Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I wasn't feeling up to it by then, so I skipped the armory. I have played a couple of Talishar games, and then as far as like other Flesh and Blood stuff goes, I started working with some other locals to do some testing to prepare for the Road to Nationals events. We like spun up a mini Discord. We've been pitching ideas back and forth, things like that. So that's like the primary Flesh and Blood experience I've had, is really just like talking through and you know, that sort of thing with the locals. That being said, yesterday I wanted to test the arm, so I went and I played Battle Spirits. Now I know that that's not Flesh and Blood, but we had a local like launch event. It was only 4 rounds, and so I just wanted to see if I could, you know, show up and shuffle and make it through. I was in a decent amount of pain after the 4 rounds, but I made it through. So the goal is to try to play in an armory this upcoming week. This was like my test. Like, can I make it through this? Okay, then we'll try the Fab Armory the following week, so I can again continue to get those reps ahead of our TN season.
I saw that you had your normal placing in the Battle Spirits event. You claimed the Charmer spot.
Yes, this is how you know that Tannen, Grace, and I are the exact same person, because
Jesus Christ.
Lots of second places on my end as well, just like the Tannen Grace.
The Tannen Grace.
So I did finish second at my launch event. Little bummed out, but I ran into a unfavorable matchup in the finals. I was kind of hoping that one of the other red decks that had showed up would take the person out before I hit them. So I did finish second, but it's funny. I have this actually really fun story. So at that event, one of my locals who also plays Flesh and Blood, his name is Ben. He's also a big Bravo guy.
Is everybody in Michigan a fucking Bravo player?
No, there's like 3 of us, but we stick together. So Ben is the other one. He also plays Oldhim too. He's just like a Guardian guy in general, but he tends to play more Bravo than Oldhim. But anyway, he shows up, and before the event even starts, he goes, I was looking through Gen the other day, and I realized you were my first Flesh and Blood game ever, because he was going through his, game history in Gem. Yeah. And it was at the Tales of Aria pre-release at the store where we were playing Battle Spirits, right? And I kind of chuckled, so I sat down next to him and I didn't move because I knew it was coming. And then sure enough, pairings go up for Battle Spirits, and I'm playing against Ben round 1. And I was like, yeah, that's why I didn't move. Once you told me that story, it was locked in. There was no way that him and I were not playing each other in the first round for our Battle Spirits debut either.
Yeah, the universe was going to take care of that one.
So. And I'm sorry, Ben, but I am now 2-0 in starter games for him. So I'll see you for Alpha Clash, and I'll see you for Lorcana, and I'll see you for all the other launches later this year.
Yeah, right? Like, I very much so was just like, God damn, I kind of had a Charmer feeling. I played 18 today, and I'm just like sore as shit. But that's what happens when you just don't golf enough. And then you decide, oh, fiddly D, I'm just going to go play 18 holes in 89% humidity. And
it's super humid here too. Oh my, I'm like sweating in my office, and it's just the humidity.
Yeah, it's awful, but it is what it is. Like I live in Iowa, like I live in the Midwest. I think we had 4 total days of real spring. And now we're just straight into summer.
It's even worse here in Michigan, because I think we had 2 real days of spring, and the rest it's either literally snowing, like the UP last week got, I don't know, like 1.5 feet of snow, or...
Oh, yeah, sure, it's the UP.
Right, but I mean, even some of the other parts of northern Michigan, it snowed like a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, even here. It didn't stick overnight, but it snowed. But basically, it's either always snowing, and then you have, usually the way that it works is you actually get like 1 or 2 good days in February, as weird as that sounds,
Yep.
in Michigan. And it tricks everyone to think spring is coming. And then it goes back to being miserable. And then you usually get 1 good day sometime in early May. And we just had ours earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
And then it gets just hot because we are surrounded by lakes. Yeah. We're surrounded by lakes, not even just like the Great Lakes, but Michigan also has a ton of inland lakes. It turns out when a glacier goes over your state a few thousand years ago, it creates a bunch of divots. Our whole state is potholes with water.
Well, so what is a lake outside of a pothole? I mean, it's just a bigger pothole.
Exactly.
But yeah, so that's for Flesh and Blood. I just played Thursday Armory. I drafted. It was, I think, the worst draft deck I've put together in, I don't know. It's been, I don't know if it was my worst Flesh and Blood draft deck ever, but it was really, really bad. So the only win was the bye. It was tried to draft Ninja. I thought I first picked a Ranger card because I was like, you know what? I'm not going to play Assassin. I always play Assassin. I'm not going to play Assassin. And so I sent Assassin gas to my left, and then I stopped and then looked to my right, and I'm like, oh, God damn it. The person to my right is always the person that forces Ranger. Oh, good. Okay. Well, I guess I'm Ninja, and that did not work out. And then Saturday is my other normal Armory day, but I had a birthday party to go to. And sometimes you don't, sometimes you just have to do those things, right? Like, as much as I love Flesh and Blood, I love my friends more. And luckily those things kind of cross over a lot now, and that feels great. But when my friend is like, hey, come to my birthday party, we're going to just have drinks and dinner and vibe in a party room. It's like, okay, I'll be there. So I just did that. I did that instead. I know that we're here locally. We've kind of ran into a challenge where we have, I wouldn't call it an issue, but we see some ebbs and flow of player retention. And I know some of that is just because people have stuff going on, but we've really stagnated on growth. So some of the guys in the community got together and they started building commoner decks out of the bulk at one of the shops, just to try to like get people so we can hold some of these events. And then we've just decided we're going to go put up pricing out of our own stashes because we all have them. Like every single one of us has that is regular player for the most part has some unreal stash of playmats or promos or what have you. And we're just like, fuck it. Like, we're just going to see if we can grow a little bit. I know we have an issue. I wouldn't call it, it's hard because it's not an issue, but we have a situation here where we have a very, very healthy competitive group, but we have a hard time retaining and growing the non-competitive group. The people that show up, the people that Armories are really geared for. And that's where there's that problem of Armories being attached to 90-day XP, having 3x multiplier on 90-day XP, because we not only, though we're trying to qualify for nationals or whatever, we are not only incentivized to play in every single one we can, we're also incentivized to win as much as possible. And so that really starts to whittle at the community a little bit. And when those seasons and those types of scenarios come up, like it doesn't incentivize us to meme around and have fun when, that the experience ends up mattering. So we're working on that part. It's going to be, like I said, it's hard work. Like community organizing, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. That's just hard work. And sometimes you just kind of have to take stock of where you're at and see what else you can do or what you can do differently to kind of get over the next, get to the next hill, so that you're going back upward and you're not sitting on a plateau, which is the worst of the dual lands in Magic. But I guess that's arguable ish because scrubland exists. You know what? Never mind.
I don't know that I would have said that plateau was the worst, but
back in the day, it was always considered the worst.
Yeah, I know. Back in the day, I think I think, I don't know, things have shifted over time, and I don't pretend to have the current pulse on like vintage and whatever, but back when I was still playing, at that time it was probably Savannah was the worst, just because in like vintage play where you were actually breaking out the duels, there wasn't a lot of like white green dedicated lists, you know. I mean,
yeah,
anything with blue and black were usually pretty standard because those were like the big two. Yeah, and then
red,
and then
blue
red.
specifically because Delver.
Yeah.
But okay, that's Magic talk. We're done. Fuck that. Although they did have their Pro Tour in Minneapolis, it looked like a lot of fun. I thought about going because I saw that Livia Prima was going to be there, so I could get my Prism signed.
I mean, I was working the event, so
yeah, you were. You couldn't peel yourself away, although you spent some time with Hunter Pence, I saw. And but I saw that Livia Prima was going to be there, and I'm like, oh sweet, I can get like my giant Prism signed or whatever. Because did she do Chain? I think she did Prism, right?
Oh, no, I'm pretty sure she did Prism, like 95% sure.
And so I'm like, I could take that and get that signed. And I looked and it was like $65 a day to like just go there. So that was an immediate fuck all that shit. I'm not. No,
yep,
I'm not paying entry
Prima
fee.
did Prism.
Yeah. So I think she did the new Liliana and Magic, but she was there, and I was just like, oh sweet, I can take Flesh and Blood stuff to go get signed. But alas, I wasn't going to pay an entry fee. But I mean, Minneapolis is not very far from me, so that was a consideration up until that point. If you can't tell, loyal podcast listeners, we don't have a ton of stuff that has come out in the past week or so. However, the stuff that has come out is kind of juicy. So step one was the banned and suspended, aka BS announcement. It was kind of classic constructed, I think, is what we would expect. No changes. I didn't think they were going to be reactionary with the Pro Tour results. Yeah, well, Pro Tour combined with the calling results, because there's a lot of duplication in both events. But I didn't honestly feel like that they were going to do anything. But my question to you, Darick, is that a good or a bad thing?
So like as far as the banned and suspended and whatever announcements go, I think leaving Classic Constructed untouched is fine. I think that that's a good thing, because I don't think that there was anything that really warranted a knee-jerk reaction. Yes, you could look at the number of Rangers in the top 8 of the Pro Tour and say, well, clearly there's a problem with Ranger, it should be addressed. But the reality is there was also a ridiculous number of Rangers in the field, as well as really good, like talented players on them. So you would expect that to do well. I don't think that that's necessarily the case of like suddenly only Rangers are going to be winning events. And obviously Ranger didn't even win the event, but just in general, I think that there's not enough data points. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to me. If we see a plethora of Ranger dominance through Road to National season or something, then they might take a look and address something. But I think right now, with the sample size we have, the way people were able to, beat the deck, and not even just, at the top 8 part of the Pro Tour, but kind of throughout the event. All right. Like we saw some Rangers take their licks, etc. I think it's fine. Yes, Oldham won the event. Oldham's been really strong for a while, but I think Oldham ultimately is in a good place right now. Punishing him even further just because he won the Pro Tour. I mean, it was Michael Fang, right?
Right.
Like you're nerfing Michael Fang at that point. You're not nerfing Oldham. And also he's that much closer to living legend anyway. So I think the last thing you want to do is like nerf him into the ground so that he sticks around for another 2 or 3 years either.
Well, sure. But I don't think that Michael Fang is about to living legend out. I'm pretty sure that he needs
No, I'm at Oldham, obviously. Michael Fang is not going to living legend out, but
he is a living legend. But
I think Classic Constructed, it makes an awful lot of sense to leave that alone. Overall, I liked the Blitz changes. I'm curious to see how big of a deal.
We're not there yet, because those we want to dive into.
I was ready to dive in. That's why I was just jumping to it. But
I did want to say a couple of my piece on Classic Constructed.
Fine, I guess I'll allow you.
I'm allowed to have my own opinion.
Thing that I just said.
I mean, you're not wrong. It's largely the same. I think that we do run some risk of unbalancing the metagame a little bit, but RTN season is going to do a lot of work towards one, getting Oldham out. We're getting close to it. Probably finally getting Briar out, and also you're going to just see a lot of people that are just continually evolving and innovating, and things also boil down to local meta games. Obviously, a Pro Tour is not a local meta. It is a very, very non-localized meta game, but it's also everybody is doing the thing. Not everybody. Most people are doing the thing that gives them the best. They think gives them the best chance to win. And then you also have teams on decks, so that also inflates the hero count on all sides. Mm-hmm. So you can't really knee-jerk react to something like a Pro Tour now. If the calling would have been 5 Rangers in the top 8 of calling, which it wasn't, maybe, but again, you're in the same room. Like, you're still the same group of people by and large. But if we see the next, couple of callings have the same sort of mix, maybe that's when something gets done, because neither Lexi or Azalea is at 0 living legend points still at this point, and Lexi is at a negligible amount. They're not going anywhere for a while. So we're going to see Ranger for quite some time that are good, but I have a lot of things to on my plate to try to figure out to do for the RTN season, and also to play at the Brawl. And there's a couple things on my radar that weren't before because of what I think I'll see. So we can get into that a little bit more. I hope
one of them is Redline Riptide after the conversation we had before recording.
Every time that I see a Riptide list, the first thing I do is right at the top of their whatever they have, dies to Kano, and then slide it back. Especially at Blitz, it's like, nope, you cannot win. But moving to Blitz, there's a lot happening in Blitz. First off, Oldham and Icelander are gone, which I'm personally incredibly happy to see those two fuckers done, because I am bored senseless whenever I'm playing against either of those decks. So I'm glad that the Blitz format, in its already very fast nature, is now catering to my insect level of attention span. It's very kind of them. So I, again, was very happy they're gone. But with them gone, they also made a couple of other changes. So the ones that were expected were Aether Ice Vein, Crown of Seeds, and Hypothermia came off the suspended list like we knew they would. None of those are very impactful. The only hero that can play Crown of Seeds is Briar.
I think that's more impactful than you might think. We've already seen people try the blocking Briar
in CC.
In CC, and with Oldham going away and people looking for potentially new fatigue options, I would not be surprised if somebody tries like Crown of Seeds blocking Briar and Blitz.
Probably.
I'm not saying it'll be like good. I'm just saying like the Crown of Seeds thing is actually moderately relevant.
The other thing, so Aether Ice Vein, there isn't a hero that can play it. It just is a dead card in Blitz. And then Hypothermia is obviously live for Lexi only to play if they wanted to. But then they decided to straight up unban a card that no one fucking saw coming. And it's one that I have been on the record. I don't know about actually on the record, but I've said this any number of times, that if there's one card that they should never unban, it's Drone of Brutality. And then, like fucking thieves in the night, they unbanned Drone of Brutality in Blitz. Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this.
So the first thing that came to mind was, well, that's great. I can actually peel a couple cards out of Levia in Blitz and throw these drones in. Sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, or I can just play Rhinar.
Yeah.
And just never fatigue ever. It's always
you say that. See, you say that, but it's I'm already on the anti-drone game plan, and it goes into my game plan because this is why I'm excited.
Oh, assassin can banish it, right?
Yes. So this is why I've been so excited about this, because there's going to be a lot of people who suddenly jam drone in, and I am going to be on the hunt for drone. So before drone was unbanned, just knowing that Oldhim and Icelander were going to Living Legend, I was already on for Blitz. I'm going to play Fatigue Uzuri, contract heavy with lots of blue block 3s, because I still want the blues for Kano matchups, right? Like, you have to have a plan for that in Blitz. You have the ability to literally go AB5 in the Kano matchup, and so like you can just say, okay, bet, right? But with drone, because it costs 2, you can do the old swap-a-rooney, right? So you give yourself a way to essentially continue to threaten damage, and you'll likely never fatigue, but you do also have the daggers. But because you're on the contracts, and so like this is why I think the contract Uzuri is so important, right? Because you're on the contracts, you'll likely, hopefully, be whittling away at your opponent's deck on just like weird, silly breakpoints. And you have the potential to banish their drones, right? Like that's where you get the edge in the matchup. So when you're trying to go to the fatigue, being able to banish is a really big deal. In fact, I've been saying that like in Blitz, I truly believe that you don't have to like do the 20 health. You really only have to do 10 damage as long as that 10 damage is on an Eradicate. So like if you throw a Eradicate and you hit both your red cut the chases on it, like you're probably going to peel enough out of their deck at that point that the rest, it doesn't matter. You can block for the rest of the game and probably still come out ahead there. So like, I'm really excited to try this in Blitz. I was already considering that. And then they went and they gave me drone in a deck where it's like tailor made for that. Oh, chef's kiss. Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm like probably the only person who's like happy to see drone unbanned, but I really am.
No, I mean, I'm interested by drone being unbanned. I think that's actually very funny when you talk about it in a Azuri list, because you can just set up silly loops where it's a 0-cost stealth card and drone over and over and over and over until they die from it.
Yeah, because like, the stealth card goes under and the drone goes right back as well. So you're just like, okay, like last ditch effort. Who cares about that? I've got drone forever, baby.
I've got drone of brutality on cycle for the rest of this game, for however long this takes.
Yep.
So either you kill me, or eventually I'm going to just cycle these 2 drones over and over and over again, and you're going to die from it. That's it. That's the game plan. Yeah. That's one way to do it. Like I said, my first inclination was just, okay, so I can just play Rhinar and set it up so that I have my drones back behind something that requires a discard 6. And just do it repeatedly, so that I always have the intimidate trigger or whatever trigger I need off Rhinar. And also same story with Levia, where it's okay, set it up, ready to go at all points in time. So you're never in that situation. The problem you have at Levia is you want to banish it. You want to banish that shit from the yard. Sometimes that thing never shows up there.
Right.
So somewhat problematic, but you can banish it to Art of War if you really are in a pinch. But on Rhinar, though, is where I'm like, okay, that's a shiny toy, because it's a block that just goes in the bottom too. You can just be like, well, I need that later, and block bottom. It only blocks 2.
Yeah, well, maybe. Sometimes it blocks more. So here's the other really big thing about this, and I wish that I had the ability to ask some of the devs how much this factored in, whether they were waiting for Oldhim to leave, or now that Oldhim is gone and whatever, if they were also predicting this. But the other reason I think that they're unbanning it now is almost like this weird test case, is that we've seen Prism start to do well again in Blitz. And we know we're getting a new Prism here in a couple of months. And Red Drone is a popper that can keep coming back.
Correct.
And so I do wonder how much of that factors into the decision to unban this now as a result. Like that's been on my mind as well.
So we're gonna do a quick stonks check, as sometimes
regular
want to do.
drones for like unlimited near mint non-foil or whatever were like $3.50 last time I checked.
$3.50. You are correct.
Which is way more than the $0 they were prior.
Correct. So if you want a pink strip drone,
I didn't even think to look for the pink ones.
That's going to run you about $25.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Is not that bad. I think that's what I paid for them, honestly. If you want an unlimited rainbow foil, that's going to get you $12.50. I have a couple of those. And if you want a rainbow foil pink strip, $190.
Yeah, I was going to say those are 190, and there's only one at the 190. It looks like the rest of the listings
there's
are
3, but it's a 0%
one of
seller.
Yeah.
So it's always hard to tell.
That's why I didn't even count that one. Sorry, when I pulled mine up, if they have 0%, I don't count them. So I just went down to the next one is a real seller for $190.99, and then after that they're more.
$230. Yeah, like I count that simply because it's you can always get your money back if they're not real. It's not like the people that scam on Facebook or whatever name, that's different. But that's red drone, but there's also blue drone, which oddly enough is usually as expensive or more. So currently the best part of this is if you want, you can get first ed blue drones. So they're not pink, obviously, and their color isn't changed, but they're only like $40. That's not that bad for alpha blue drones. So that's a consideration, to be honest. So it's interesting whenever these things happen to watch like kind of the prices shift. It's kind of like when Dust Till Dawn hit. Like so full disclosure, I am a fucking whore. And there's no better way to put that. I'm just a whore. And no one's going to argue. That's just an easy statement. So when I saw Vincent, the first thing I did was fill as many shopping carts as I could on different websites, MinMax. Realm actually didn't have anything. I think I made one order on Fab TCG cards, and I did patronize TCG Player, although I tried not to. And filled up on Monarch First Ed Shadow Runeblade foils. So now I can just straight up First Ed foil out of Vincent deck and laugh my way to the bank on some of these, because it's just like Invert Existence. I think they're, I should check, because they are, this is great radio, by the way. When I looked, they were way expensive. So first edition rainbow foils.
Yeah, first ed rainbow foils are like $10.
Like $10. Okay, yep, that's still what they are. Perfect. I think I paid $3. So that's fantastic. The other one, Shadow Averser. Let's look at that one.
Yeah, that one's, if chain is any indication, that one's like a staple.
Yes. So, those are $11 a piece. So again, I got them for much cheaper than that. And then the other thing I did is I treated myself to some foil Crucible First Mauvrian Skies, because, I deserve it. But I would advise people who really are into like the foiling out of decks of different types, if you want to max rarity, or well, not max rarity, well, kinda out of chain,
some of these,
you would do very well to go get yourself the Monarch First foils right now, because they're probably not getting cheaper.
I was just going to say, if I'm being honest, like even just like $10 for a rainbow foil First Ed Majestic is really reasonable.
Right. Yeah, it totally is. Let's look at my order history really quick. I don't know which one I used, because I ordered a ton of stuff. Like here, oh, I had to order a swarming gloom veil. I did order some pink strip drones too because I didn't own any. There's always, you have to do that on occasion. And we're killing time. So yeah, inverts, shadows, seeds, shadow puppetries. Those are another good one that you'll want.
Yeah, I mean, those, as far as I'm concerned, those are cards that will always be playable as long as shadow heroes are a thing. Like shadow puppetry is so good.
And getting seeds for foil seeds for relatively cheap. I mean, you can get them right now for basically under $1 a piece. So it's always a good time to try that because they're going to be playable again. That card is absolutely busted. The last banned and suspended announcement change is a very sad one for all of us lovers of apes and gorillas. Dicks out for Harambe because Go Bananas is banned in UPF competitively. I think this is a sad day for everyone, as it was the most fun way for everybody else to not have fun, as you just sat there and opened packs forever in the history of Flesh and Blood. So R.I.P. Harambe, you will be missed by at least me. I don't know who else, but I will miss it. Because so that was funny because I was planning on playing Go Bananas Shiana in UPF in Baltimore. And so I have a graded Go Bananas that's going to pop the case, right? And I fucking forgot to. Just straight up forgot to. I'm like, shit, well, I guess I'm not doing that then. Good thing I didn't, because now there's no reason to pop it out of its slab. It's not playable. Sad days. Moving on, RTN season coming up soon.
Yep.
They start next weekend for a host of a handful of locations and across the globe, and then in the US the weekend of May 20th.
Yeah.
I have no goddamn idea what I'm doing yet. I know that you've been in the lab a lot working on a couple of different decks.
I've been trying to work stuff out because I know that I'm at most going to be able to play in 2 this season. Like that's the downside. Normally I play in like 4 or 5, but the weird disbursement of where they are this time around, combined with, that first weekend, the weekend of the 20th and the 21st, the 21st is my oldest son's birthday. So I can't go, like the most local store to me is the one I can't go to. They have theirs on the 21st. I might literally take like a 3 or 4 hour road trip with some other locals on the 20th to go play in one, just so that I can fit one in that weekend. Following weekend is also Pittsburgh. I will be casting for the Brawl and Battle Hardened and whatever, so I obviously cannot compete for that road to nationals. The following weekend, I might be able to go, but it's going to depend because we have a family wedding that my wife is going to drive down to Ohio for. So either I'm going with her or I'm on dad duty, and either way makes it very difficult to compete. So I'm trying to figure out which ones I can go to, but it's looking like at most I'll be able to only do 2, where again, normally I do like 4 or 5. I'm also very upset because locally I will not be able to participate in any of the draft ones, which is my favorite. So I've been diligently trying to figure out what list I want to play, because when I do get to play, I have to make the most of it. Like that's the downside.
Yeah. Real talk here. What part of your anatomy are you going to fuck up at this son's birthday party?
Well, I figured now is the time to hit the left arm, right?
I mean, you could just get a leg. Like you could leave the arms out of it.
My left leg is already double jacked. Really bad torn hamstring, and I tore my meniscus. On the left arm, I did have a partial rotator cuff tear a while ago, but I had, funny enough, before I tore my right bicep, I had actually been experiencing pain in my left bicep, and I thought, oh no, I might be like shredding that. I need to take it easy. So I'd been monitoring that. So of course, what's going to happen is I will just finish tearing that one, right?
Oh, there you go.
At
How's
some point, we're just going to tear and replace everything.
You know, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. There's no way to dance around this, but how's the groin? Any groin issues?
Not currently. When I was very, very young, I had a hernia. I had to have a surgery to have it closed, but as an adult, no issues.
Yeah, I had one friend, pseudo friend. I really didn't like the kid, who growing up.
I knew a guy. That's how you say that. I
knew a guy who ended up having testicular torsion. If you're not familiar with what testicular torsion is, his balls just spun and twisted themselves around, and they had to go in and unspin them. Yeah, and it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. But
you have to understand, if you are somebody who doesn't have a Y chromosome, this is incredibly painful because obviously just like the twisting sucks, but also the blockage it then creates causes a lot of discomfort. Like if you've ever had any of your vessels even like partially blocked, like the torsion is that on steroids. So
yeah, right. And also when you move, like, I don't know if you've, like, the pulling feeling is just enough to like cause you to feel actual sick. So yeah, then that's a thing. So I guess that's been medical talk for or groin, groin, give me a G, groin gossip with
this has
Darick
been
and
groin
Logan.
Gossip with Darick and Logan.
Gossip with Darick and Logan. God, we got to start that one. That's a good one.
No, that sounds awful.
I'm going to put that on the list. We're going to put that on the menu. It's going to go up on the whiteboard. Put it on the board. And so that's a possibility. It's quite far down the list, but we're going to put it on the list. I guess for me, I've been putting a few reps in with Zach Bunt's Viscerai list. I wanted to see why it was good, and it's good because Deathly Duet is a fucked up card, and it's good at being aggressive. It's good at getting a lot of concessions, and because people are, you're like, okay, well, here's 4 or 5 rune chants and 6, and there's like, no, that's a lot. There's two rune chants behind it still for 2/2/2 with a thorn. It's like, Jesus fuck. So it's a lot of burst damage. It's very good at blocking. Almost everything blocks 3. The only thing it really doesn't is Movrian Skies, which you don't want to fucking block with anyway.
Yeah, if you're blocking with that, you've got other problems.
I have yet to find, and maybe I just need to like reach out to Zach, but I have yet to figure out what matchups I want the cash-in package in against. I guess it's when I'm pure racing, but it doesn't feel like there's a lot of pure races out there.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a fair question. Pure racing makes sense, or I honestly thought you might consider bringing it in against like the Oldhim matchups where you try to do more like take a turn off to set up, take a turn on to go tall over all of their defenses, rinse and repeat sort of thing. Like,
right.
Yeah, right. So like, yes, you have like the one free one off the crown, but there are scenarios where I could see like just straight up also playing the cash in to set up your other stuff is probably still fine. So yeah, I think it's, I will say Viscerai to me is a deck that I think has been a little under the radar, mostly because I think that it lacks a little bit of consistency. I like to describe like mid Viscerai like this as fair Starvo, because when your hand aligns, you have insane turns with, you know, a lot of damage that's likely to bleed through. In the case of Starvo, it was obviously through Dominate. Here it's the combination of like you have to pitch for the rune chance but also block the physical. But basically anytime your hand is like blue pitch, mauve skies, decent attack, whatever, like you have a Starvo type hand, you're going to threaten you know, 12 or slightly more damage that way, and then you rinse and repeat. So yeah, I think it's a little underrepresented.
Yeah, I felt the power when I was playing against an Azalea, I believe it was, and I whiffed on all 3 Sonatas, every single one, and still won the game. I was like, oh, well, okay. If Sonata be bad and I can still win, like that says a lot. But I also treated that matchup like I was going to try to block sometimes, and maybe that's when I want to pure race in. I think that against Lexi, you just shove everything in the deck. So you're still playing the cash-in strategy to potentially, or you just take out the cash-ins. It's the only cards not in the deck, and play Crown of and don't play Crown of Dominion, play Crown of Providence. But still trying to figure that one out. It's been fun to play with, and I can tell you straight away, I am not smart enough to make any changes to that list. Not even fucking close. So nope, not touching that part. But I do know how to play Rattlebones off of Spellbound Creepers.
Rattlebones is fine.
It's a good card. It's a fun card.
It's also running, what is it, Shrill or whatever, right?
Shrill of Skull form. Yep.
Yeah.
Card's great. Does a lot of work. It does. I mean, it gets pumped for free.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say it does a lot of work with the Mauve Skies, right? So when you think about those Starvo-esque turns, right? If it's Blue Pitch, Mauve Skies, Shrill, maybe another attack or whatever, and then end with a Thorn. Yeah,
it's a good hand.
Good.
It's a good hand.
It's a good hand.
Swarming Gloomveil in that deck is also just kind of fucked up. Because a lot of times they just like, okay, well, I'll take 2 of these Rune Chants or whatever. Now your Swarming's just actually fully powered. They can't prevent arcane damage the rest of the turn after you play it. It's like, sucks to suck.
Yeah. And so many decks right now have like cut back on the AB anyway.
Right.
So like, and when I say that, I don't even just mean like the null rune equipment. What I mean is the ability to pay for it. So when I look at some of these like Lexi and Azalea lists, or a lot of the aggressive Uzuris, very red. They've, optimized going down to like yellow pitches so that they can pay just for their attacks, et cetera, et cetera. I think that when you can sneak in this arcane damage, Viserai has a lot of merit.
The other one I've been messing with, or want to start messing with a little bit more, I've played a couple of times, is trying to find a Rhinar list that makes sense. Because people are, I think, going to try to be forcing Oldhim because Oldhim's good. And Rhinar likes to play against Oldhim. Mainly because Rhinar does stupid things with not a lot. And can just trade damage back and forth quite efficiently. And so it's very, very interesting to try to see if I can find a version of that I do enjoy playing. I've tried to play some Bravo, but it just doesn't feel great. The problem I've run into with Bravo is some of the guesswork into matchups. I'm XO hardcore XO against Big Dragon Dromai, like not losing ever.
Yeah.
And then against Redline Dromai, or as fucking Mara puts it, Empress Dromai, that gets way harder. That is no longer free. So that's also problematic. Sometimes you have a hand that doesn't function as to pop and do anything with, and it's like shit.
So the best advice that I can give on that, and this is, let me pull the curtain back a little bit about competitive card gaming. If you're somebody who's, at home, or you're new to the scene, or maybe you've only dabbled, but whatever, like you haven't taken the full leap, and you always wonder like why people have teams. It's not just for the testing. Don't get me wrong, that is a very big part of it. The whole way you get better at anything is to surround yourself with people smarter than you. But on actual game day, as you start to progress through a tournament, if you've got a team of people who, once you have finished your game, you can get up, you can walk the tables, you can also kind of get a glimpse of what other people are playing. You can kind of scout opponents. Whether or not you think that it is fair is beside the point, because it happens. It's going to happen. And a big part of that is what I'm about to mention next, which is the key to the Bravo matchup is knowing which Dromai you're playing against, because you're right. Absolutely. Against Big Dragon, I never have a problem with Bravo. The Redline one, I think it's still very winnable. I think you can beat it, but it's a completely different sideboard package and a completely different way you navigate that. And the only way to make that assessment ahead of time is with the knowledge ahead of time, right? Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to sit down and you're either going to flip a coin, or you're going to be guessing, or if you've done some scouting, or you have a team that's done some scouting and they say, hey, this is what they're on, then you can adjust accordingly. So like that's a big part of it. And in that matchup in particular, it's an even bigger deal because if you're on Bravo, unless things go crazy, right? Like if you draw the nuts, if it's like crippling, spinal crippling, most of the time your games are not over fast enough for you to be the one who can go scout the tables. So again, if you've got a teammate who's on a different list, a more aggressive list, and their game finishes early, they can do that for you and then kind of fill you in about like what they saw at the tables. It's a really big deal. So that, yeah, I mean, this is a bit of a sidetrack and it's long-winded, I know, but like that is something that I want to point out to folks. If you're looking to get better and you're trying to like understand why people do the team stuff, your team helps you in preparation, and then they also help you on game day. And then even after day one, like if a bunch of you make the day 2 cut, then you can talk about adjustments that you've, potentially got the ability to make based on what you're seeing or how people are navigating lists. Like there's a lot that goes into it. You can really learn a lot from others and get a lot of help all through every stage of an event.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're spot on with surround yourself with people smarter than you. I do it on a regular basis. I have been the dumbest co-host of this podcast for 75 weeks.
That's not true.
I have surrounded myself with people that are smarter than me the entire time. I specifically remember playing in a pro quest, and Dag and I are both on Starvo, and Dag gets done with his match. It was a sweat. He walks up to me and goes, "Hey, I fucked this up on the notes. So if you sit down across from Briar, switch this out for AB1." And I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "You sure you don't need to write that down?" I'm like, "No, I'll remember that." 2 rounds later, I sit down across from a Briar, obey my notes. Oops. And I died. Because I couldn't AB the one damage off Thorn. So the person was smarter than me, and I was too dumb to listen and write. Well, I wasn't too dumb to listen. I was too dumb to write it down. So it was a combination of idiocy and hubris. Yeah. So that's that. I guess,
especially the part where they say, "Are you sure you don't need to write that down?"
Yeah. If I were to write a book, the title would just be Idiocy and Hubris. So it would just be Idiocy and Hubris, an Odyssey into the Moronic Ramblings of a fucking dipshit by Logan Peterson. So anybody that wants to do up that book cover for me, feel free. I'm more than willing to just look like an asshole.
I'm going to type that title into Chat GPT right now and just have them write your autobiography. And it'll probably be correct.
I really hope that there is not enough information about me on the internet to fill that book, because I am old. And so like up until the age of like 27, that the record is very incomplete. And thank fucking God that record is very incomplete.
This is why it's going to be funny to me, right? It's Chat GPT. It's dumb. So because you have 2 names that are accessible through many other areas and very famous people or whatever, when you type in Logan Peterson, you'll get maybe some stuff for you, but you're probably also going to have like your early childhood will be described as if you were Logan Paul. You might have like how you played, running back for the Minnesota Vikings for a bit because Adrian Peterson. It'll just be all sorts of random snippets, and that also is just very funny to me.
So now we need somebody to make this book cover, because Charmer's going to fucking chat GPT a book about my life. And then we'll release it in PDF form along with a free copy of The Stoic by noted author Matt DeMarco. I knew we were going to get that in this episode. It's very important to make sure that everybody knows. I think that's all the flake slander we're going to do on this episode. I feel like I'm not going to get another one.
At least one more.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, all right. We'll see what happens. Coming up very soon, about 3 weeks, as of recording, a little less as of publishing, we will have the Pittsburgh Brawl Weekend hosted by The Realm and Green Tree Sports Cards. 2 of our absolute favorite. I would just, it's hard for us because, or for me, I guess I should say, not us, because while they are great at their jobs, they're great LGSs, they're great organizers, they're also friends. And so when I start saying great LGS, I'm like, but I feel like I'm shortchanging because I just fucking love all these people. So, yes, hashtag no free ads, but sponsored by the great people at The Realm, or hosted by the great people at The Realm Gaming and Green Tree Sports Cards. It's May 27th and 28th, so Memorial Day weekend. We have a classic constructed 5K on Saturday, that Charmer will be casting with a PTI attached to the winner, gold foil to the winner. I believe, if I'm wrong about that, Keith, you are more than welcome to whip me with a wet noodle or whatever the fuck you do to punish idiots for saying the wrong shit on the internet. And then the top 8, I believe, get invites to the 20K Invitational in Q4. Date 2 TBD as far as I know. And then Sunday is a nice little battle hardened, just a quaint, casual battle hardened on Sunday. That is Outsiders Sealed. So that will be very, very fascinating, because as having played a bit of Outsiders Sealed, it can go some really weird directions with what you have to play. I'm hoping for a playable pool myself. I don't necessarily need the nuts. I would just like something functional.
Well, the other thing to consider is, if we end up broadcasting this battle hardened, and I'm pretty sure, that's the plan, this will be after the speakeasy night. So the other thing that's going to potentially go in any number of directions will be the commentary, specifically Flake.
Yes, and also the fact that I will take my ability to hold my liquor against virtually anyone. So if I can down enough people at the speakeasy so that they are non-competitive and non-functional for the battle hardened, I'm just making the odds a little bit better for myself. So that's part of the plan. It's all part of the plan at that point. Like, so the speakeasy party is going to be at a place called 5 Iron Golf Bar. So they have golf sims. So we'll have unlimited access to the sims, from my understanding. And then they have like skee ball and foosball and a bar, arcade games. They have all kinds of fun stuff. And so yeah, you can go in and we can gamble on golf too. Like, I'm more than happy to. I bet on the golf course a lot, because I can't say no to a fair bet or an unfair bet. Just kind of.
I was just about to say, it's not going to be fair. You'll have to forgive me for sitting this one out.
You could putt.
Maybe by then.
I think so. Like, if you're moving your arms to putt, you're fucking doing it wrong. Step 1.
But you have to still be able to extend it. I can't even do that.
Okay. Range of motion is a problem.
I hope to, but that's why I said maybe. It wasn't a hard yes. I hope that I can fully extend by then. I'm getting closer every day, but I still can't do full extension yet.
And you know what? Fuck. God damn it. They had to put it at a golf ball, like at a golf sim place, because now it makes me want to drive the 11 hours instead of fly, so I can bring my clubs, so I can just start swinging.
No, here is the thing that you need to do. You need to just show up and use their equipment, because nothing.
I know how this goes.
Somebody who used the equipment at the facility for any sort of game or sporting event.
Nope. I think I've learned my lesson by watching you, as a dipshit, walk up to me with like, I think I tore it, and literally seeing your bicep flopped over to the inside of your arm where it doesn't fucking belong. Yeah. So nope. I'm good. We are going to not, if we can help it, odds are it's 11 goddamn hours in a car. So I might buy a new car like this week if I'm feeling frisky. And if I do, then I'll probably drive, because get used to it, Sure. Spend some time with it. But if I don't, I will probably just fly. And then use the equivalent of golf lane balls, which can only go terrible. There's really no other way for that. Oh well. The other portion that is important to the entire Realm 20K thing is they yet again, because it's the Realm, it's the Bartrams, have decided to do something fucking silly that's really cool. So now, not only does the winner of the 20K get a pile of money and probably other shit that is provided by LSS or whoever, or Green Tree and MinMax and Kayfabe, who knows? That prize pool is probably still undefined as of this thing. But one thing we know that is in that prize pool is a WSOP style bracelet for the winner that is encrusted with rubies and black diamonds. Because why the fuck not?
Because they saw somebody, I'm not going to say who, flaunting a championship style belt all the time. And they said, yeah, that's a cool idea. How do we do something like that? And so then they came up with the bracelet. And I really do like the bracelet because as much as I love when Dagan wears the belt, because I just love that kind of like flair.
Yeah.
Being able to flex the bracelet is also cool because it's a piece that you can wear while playing cards, and it's like in your face still, right?
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, it's like the belt for comedic relief. Like you can subtly flex it. Like you can just show up and start shuffling and then it's just there. Like I just love,
but you know for a fact that if Dagan wins it, he'll wear both.
Oh, well,
he'll be belt with matching bracelet.
Yeah.
The kid is incorrigible. However, that's a flex, and you got to respect the flex. Like
I respect flexes way more now that I can't do it.
We can flex with the left arm. Oh, yeah, don't try though, because I don't want to see you like pop a tricep because you just accidentally flexed wrong somehow. Okay, Where's your sling?
It's probably still at the restaurant.
That's amazing. I'm so proud of you.
Oh.
All it took was one Moscow Mule. And one, you stopped feeling pain, which was good. And two, you forgot the fucking thing that is supposed to immobilize your arm so you feel less pain. Great.
Yeah, well.
These things happen, I guess.
Just wait till you see what trouble I get up to, because that Pittsburgh is like, it's the weekend just after my birthday, too. So we're going to have a lot of fun.
Oh, I see.
Got to celebrate being that much closer to me dying.
I refuse to celebrate that, but I will celebrate the fact that you were born that made my life better. How about that?
I mean, you do you, fam.
And I do have a gift for you that I will bring with me. It is not an inflatable penis. That was confiscated in Vegas at Holly's bachelorette party. Because they were carrying it through one of the casinos. Or no, sorry, it didn't get confiscated. They got kicked out of the Planet Hollywood for having a 3-foot inflatable dick at like midnight. And the security guards were like, it's a family establishment. So Holly then tried to get like one of the other people to like take it with them out of her hotel room. And so what my wife did, my wife is, when she is on, she's next level. So what she did is she told my mom, hey, can you grab that for me? So my mom picks it up and then turns around. And as she turns, like the minute she turns around, Holly just snaps a photo of her holding this giant dick and then sets it as her profile picture in her phone. So the profile picture for my mother in Holly's phone is her holding a 3-foot inflatable dick. Priceless.
Yeah, that's fair.
Can't say enough about how
I love a good bamboozle.
Bean Boozle or Bamboozle? Oh, it's a Bamboozle, yes. Okay. Bean Boozle is just torture, honestly. Like, no one should ever do that. Other things, realm related, again, hashtag no free ads. But the Realm Battleship is still on, if you're interested. Signups are open. I believe that the difference now is that your entire room rate is due immediately rather than a deposit type of thing. But you still have some time to sign up for that. I believe a couple months, if I'm mistaken. Again, Jacob just beat the shit out of me. I think I could take Keith. Jacob, I don't know. Like, it seems like he has a lot of pent up anger that he could just unleash on me at any point in time. I probably don't want that fight. But signups are open. So please check that out if you are interested. And I know a lot of people are. Also, check out the Realm's Twitter feed at the Realm Games 1, the number 1. They are doing a cruise giveaway, of all things.
Yeah.
So,
and this is not one that like requires you to sit through a timeshare presentation. Like it's just an actual cruise giveaway.
We don't know that yet. That very well could be a timeshare presentation. We actually do not know. So there very well could be a timeshare presentation attached. I make no promises.
They had the rules for the giveaway in the tweet. There was no mention of a timeshare.
I didn't say if it said, please see, the realmgaming.com or realmgamingnetwork.com for more details or something. I didn't pay much attention. I just retweeted it and called out Flake because I know that he wants to be on a boat. Dude doesn't like planes. I think he might like boats. I like boats. I love boats. But yes, they are doing a cruise giveaway. They are hashtag no free ads. They are the most generous human beings I think that I've ever met. I mean, they're very high on the list. And we will actually have a very special giveaway sometime soon once I figure out how to give it away. We already have some ideas floating around, but it is something very cool that is, again, provided by the Realm. So please be on the lookout for that. I guarantee you it is worth trying to win. Let's put it that way. Let's move on to our one listener question. It's from Big Lou. We're really zooming through this. We're an hour in, and we have listener question and closing. So this, but again, not a lot to talk about.
Well, also, we're just professionals. We're efficient.
We are efficient. I'm only a few beers deep, so I'm not as loosey-goosey as I normally would be.
I'm at the bottom of my current coffee cup, which means it's time to go get more.
Who fucking drinks coffee at like 11:30 at night?
People who need it to survive.
I think we need to have a discussion about the definition of need.
Listen, when I went to get my stress test done because they were worried potentially about me having heart issues, the nurse actually asked me if I was alive. She was taking my heart rate and resting. He was like low 40s. And so she literally said, "Are you alive?"
Low 40s?
40s. And this is, I want you to be clear. This is something that routinely happens. Like even on like an average day, it's usually like low 50s when I'm just like resting or whatever and I go to the doctor. So when I say I need to survive, it's mostly because like I'm drinking the coffee so that when I go to sleep, it doesn't just stop.
Oh, well, things I learned today. You actually do not have a metabolism. That's good.
Yeah, it is something to behold how crazy my heart rate is at times. When I work out, it skyrockets. Like, don't get me wrong, but like my resting heart rate is miserable.
My resting heart rate is like 60, 61, which for a human being of my size, not supposed to be a thing. And working out, I really have to try to get it over 100. Like I have to bust my ass to get it over 100.
Oh yeah, mine'll go up over 100, like pretty standard. Like I don't have any sort of like resting metabolism, but like when it fires up, it burns. Like it's listen, I know what I'm about to say is going to sound very, arrogant, self-absorbed, but shocking. I don't mean it this way. No, it reminds me of
your tanning Grace. Of course, it's gonna be self-absorbed.
Well, yeah, of course. But like, it just reminds me of like a drag race car, right? Like a funny car or something, where when it does fire up, it just like burns through everything really, really quickly. So I got that going for me, I guess. But yeah, normally I'm just like struggling to be alive, both mentally and physically.
Yeah, I just have zero metabolism, like actual none. So that's different, I guess. Okay, but back to this listener question.
Yeah, Big Lou.
Big Lou, one of our friends and patrons, and a good human in general. He states and asks, I guess there's a lot to this, if Oldman Breyer LL, which possible, and we start with a 5-hero living legend format, I too would love to see the degenerate shenanigans, thank you, and no holds barred action these fully powered decks would have. Unfortunately, I also see LSS pulling the plug on some key pieces and copying paste in the ban list from these heroes we're in CC. Do you think they'll let us run rampant when it starts, or they will take away cards before we begin? Also, what do you think of restricting cards to one copy that were previously suspended until a hero left the format? Think hypothermia. Now, I'm going to take the first stab at this because I think that we got our answer when they fucking unbanned Drona Brutality and Blitz. I think they're going to let us just have at it. Everything's on the table. Go nuts. This will be the first time I get to play with Duskblade. It's going to feel great. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Duskblade.
So the first part of this question, I agree, but I do want to throw some caveats. I think let me start by saying, first of all, there's nothing stopping us from playing Living Legend format right now, even with less than 5 heroes, right? We know what the Living Legend heroes are. You can just fire it up and go no holds bar right now if you want to. And that's the beauty. Even after this releases, if they do put some sort of stipulations, you can just do a, nothing banned, restricted, whatever format if you want. Beauty of a physical card game. Play the game the way you want. But I do think that when we finally get to the point where they start saying, okay, we're going to support a Living Legend format, I think that at first they are going to not announce anything because, one, people will be looking forward to it. It'll be fun. And 2, I think they're going to want data points to see what's popping up, because I doubt that they've put a lot of dev time and testing into the format. Why would you? They're going to be focused on new content and supporting the existing stuff at that. So what I suspect will happen is they will announce, hey, Living Legend format's going to be a thing. And they might start small, right? Maybe they'll say we're going to do something special to support armories, or maybe they'll do it for a skirmish season where, again, the stakes are small and it's not going to make or break somebody's quest for, the Pro Tour or the World Championship because of something that was untested, right? And then I think that they will decide at that point if they want to dial it in or make any changes. But I do think that the combination of, again, 1, they're just going to make us be the guinea pigs, and 2, people want to do it. I think they'll just turn us loose.
I really just want to play Duskblade and Seeds of Agony in chain. Is that so wrong?
No, I don't think that's wrong at all. I want to play Duskblade and Briar too.
Yeah,
true Cheerios Redline Briar.
I think Thorn is still better there than Duskblade, but it's probably closer than I think.
I'm not when you also still have Plunder Run and whatever. I'm not convinced.
Yeah, in chain it's when you're playing 9 seeds plus your howls, and then you're also playing Plunder Runs, and you're also playing your other things you can play out of the Banish Zone on a regular basis, like Shadow Puppetry and Invert. You are going to be able to trigger Duskblade basically at will, and those counters are never going away, ever. No,
they're never going away.
That thing could be a 15,
unless you run into Arclight Sentinel.
Fuck. I hate everything now.
Yeah. As somebody who has had their turns ruined.
I don't have to worry about Arclight Sentinel because Mikey bought them all. So there's none out there.
Thank you, Nick Bolas.
AKA
Mike Torek.
AKA
No Control.
AKA
Nice Neon Shorts Douchebag.
AKA
Flexi Lexi.
AKA
Buttcock.
Thank you. I think that covered all of them.
We're due.
We are due. So I'm very due. Holy shit, am I due? But yeah, I think that they're just going to let us have at it. And Cheerios Briar into full powered Starvo into full powered Chain. I honestly don't see how Oldham competes. I
I don't see, that's an interesting bit. I don't know that it's as bad as it sounds, just because if you do give him access to all of his tools, right? So we're talking like you get Winter's Wail, you get hypothermia, you get the crown, you still get like Pulse of Eisenloft. Like I think we kind of forget how many tools Oldhim had stripped. It's just a question of whether or not going that defensive with him is better than just playing Starvo.
Yeah, I say Starvo has access to literally every single tool that Oldhim has access to.
Right.
Everyone. Plus everything else. So it's like, why ever play Oldhim?
Well, I think, again, it's going to be kind of formed by what the meta is like, because the Ice D-React is still really potentially strong, like against a chain, for example. Because the question is like, Starvo is good, but Starvo was good in a format where we didn't have like a full powered chain, let alone a Duskblade chain. There's entirely a world where just Starvo is not good enough to be the aggressor. And then if you're playing a defensive Starvo, why not play the hero with the defensive actual hero power? You know what I mean? Like, it's, again, that's the Wild West, right? We don't know. I'm just saying, I don't think Oldhim is for sure the like outset there. I literally think chain/Briar dictate whether Starver or Oldhim is like the counterplay.
Yeah, Ice reacting a chain seems kind of pointless because their hand is in their banished zone. So they kind of don't give a shit.
Yeah, it depends on the timing though, right? Like, yeah, their hand is in their banish zone, but because of the way some of their sequencing works, if you can stick back their pitch, they might get stuck where they're unable to pay for things. It's again, it's turn and niche, but it's still better than not having anything. Like, again, I go back to the if chain is the real bully, Starvo's hero power gives you nothing. Oldhim at least gives you a niche use,
an out,
right?
Of some sort.
So like that's where I go, okay,
a way to take the game long, like as an instant, as an example, where usually by the game's going long, that's how chain loses, because they just either run out of deck or their blood debt is too big for them to get rid of.
Yep,
and so they lose to it. That's usually it. Plus, people now know that Remembrance is a motherfucker. So
yeah, there's that too.
They can beat an invert play by just having a Remembrance. So there's that. So like I said, I guess there is some play in there, but my personal heart of hearts is to just play full powered chain with Duskblade and see how good that is. You really don't have to make too many changes from the original list, although there are options galore now.
Yeah,
of stuff that's been printed.
A lot of things that chain has access to now that they didn't back in their heyday. Like stuff just like Swarming Gloomveil, which seems so simple, but it's so good for chain.
Yeah, I mean, it's just another extraordinarily good chain card. Or just like, that's it. It's a Runeblade. It's just a good Runeblade card. Like, I mean, it does everything you want.
It's really good for chain. We saw a little bit of it like at the tail end of chain's existence in the format, but like cards like Runic Reclamation are a big deal for the mirror, because being able to blow up their soul shackles can sometimes give you the edge. Like when
Revel in Runeblood, because you're almost always getting the with a shackle, getting your Revel in Runebloods to go off. Like never an issue. And then so if your turn is insert non-attack here, insert shackled attack with go again, and then you Revel behind it, make 3 more rune chants, and then Duskblade, like that's a motherfucker of a turn.
Yeah. It's even worse when you don't even like need the shackle in there. Like,
when it's unimportant.
I'm just saying, like, you could shadow puppetry into something ridiculous, because shadow is also a busted card. Yeah. And like, we're not even counting, like, this is the beauty of chain, right? Like, we're not even counting the turns where it's like, by the way, I've arsenaled Art of War and I'm on Shackle 5. Get ready to watch fireworks.
You are going to die now.
That was, I'm not joking, that was literally what got me into playing Flesh and Blood. Was my good friend Matt, Cosmic. You probably know him from a ton of other card games. He came over to my house and he was on a Prism deck and he handed me chain, And when I got to Art of War, a Soul Shackle 5 turn, I was just like, all right, I'm in. Like, I got to do 12 things, and that's what I needed in my life.
I eclipsed somebody on turn 2. When that happened, I decided that Chain was my spirit animal.
Yeah.
Because I just had a turn 2 Urser. It's just this thing.
Because that's what Seeds Chain used to be able to do.
Uh-huh. It was like, oh, what do you know? I have a handful of blood deck cards, and I have 3 blood deck cards in the yard, and I have an Eclipse in my arsenal. Well, I guess it's time to do this. So, whoopsie daisy.
Yeah.
That's
so
great.
Quick. The second half of Big Lou's question, I do want to make sure we hit this. I am personally not a huge fan of restricting cards as opposed to either banning or suspending them, because I think that it is too, like, enforcing a card from 3 copies down to 1 is kind of like pseudo putting the legendary tag on it, if you will. We already have that as a way to balance things in the game, and so adding that after the fact feels weird. But also, if I'm being honest, like, what I don't want is for people to have to remember whether they can include X number of copies when they're deck building. I think it should just be an all or nothing for ease of deck building, ease of accessibility for new players. And it wasn't for Flesh and Blood, but I am once again reminded there was another thing of somebody who's like cheating in a card game, actually twice, 2 different card games. Something came up on my feed. One was about One Piece, one was about Battle Spirits. And I think that anytime that we have these scenarios where somebody could be running, more than 1 copy of something, and then like it makes deck checks awkward or whatever, I just don't want to introduce that, right? So for me, it should just be like an all or nothing thing, or it should have the legendary tag like it at print, and then that should be good enough. But that's just me.
I agree. I don't want to if something is problematic enough that you need to restrict it to 1, why not just get rid of it? Some of these cards, it's almost impossible to restrict. Like, you'll think of Seeds, you think of Plunder Run. Are you restricting 1 of each color? Or are you restricting just 1 red, but the other ones are fine? Like, what's your line? And the other end of that is also, some of these cards are, once you can't play more than 1, that's just not worth playing. Like,
and here's my other problem. If the cards are that powerful, what I don't think you want is to take cards that are already inherently swingy and make them more swingy. So like, imagine a scenario where, you're playing the mirror 3 games in a row, right? Like, you load up Chain Mirrors, game 1, they draw their 1 of Seeds and their 1 of Plunder Run, right? Game 2, they get 1 Seeds, but you get none of yours. And then like game 3, you get 2 of yours and they get none of theirs. Like, you don't want these games to be defined by them pulling their like really powerful 1-ofs. Soul Reaping already kind of rides that line sometimes. Soul Reaping is really good.
And
that was at least printed with like legendary on the card, right? But what I don't think you want is a situation or a meta or whatever where you have these inherently and intrinsically swingy cards, and you're upping the variance where, again, it doesn't even matter if that's the card that swung the game. What you don't want is people walking away going, well, I lost because of variance and not because of my own agency. Because right now, most people who play Flesh and Blood really say, like, I feel like I'm always in the game. I always feel like I have agency. It's very rare that I feel like I've been truly high rolled. Like, we know it happens, but it's rare. So I don't think that we want to increase that experience for people. I think we want to decrease it or keep it at where it's at right now.
No, I agree. Like, I think that makes way more than enough sense to me. That's part and parcel, I guess, with the structure of Flesh and Blood, right? Like, it's structured to not be a high variance game. It's designed so that the system is every card has the exact same floor. As defined by what it is, right? So a blue block 3's floor is that it's, regardless of what the rest of the text on the card is it's a blue block 3. Lavia went 4-0 in day 1 of the Pro Tour playing Titanium Bauble.
Yep.
So that's a thing. So yes, I mean, and I think that once you're right, once you start introducing like this, the concept of restricting cards, you do run into a problem where you're introducing variance at a higher rate into a game that is built around being able to play the game, like not the variance, not the swings. We're about ready to get closed up shop here. I do want to give a special shout out. So God, it was a while ago, probably 2 months ago, I made some ridiculous comment about me being stupid. That's not the ridiculous part. But I made a comment about me being stupid because I lost playing Levia, and because I forgot that blood debt was a thing. Like, literally forgot that these were going to kill me in my banish zone. And they did. So one of our listeners, Ed, he is with the company buythesametoken.com, and he reached out and said, hey, I'd like to send you a blood debt counter so that you can stop forgetting that and stop being an idiot. That's not going to stop me from being an idiot. I'm always going to be an idiot. However, he did send me this cool little this blood debt counter, which is quite sick. And then a bunch of other tokens too. My favorite one being this one, which just says abilities deactivated, and it's the exact size of a text box of a card.
Oh, so
like
if you
when dishonor somebody or dishonor,
yeah,
it's just like thump. Sorry. So that's probably my favorite one. But he sent me a ton of stuff, and they're all really nice. They're plastic, so they're not like the metal tokens, but they are also a little bit smaller than like what Fab Metal Tokens makes. What I think that Fab Metal Tokens is very good for streaming play because they're big, they're easy to read. These would be much better on a tabletop during gameplay in my mind, but they're nice, they're intricate. So yeah, I probably am going to do like a short YouTube video about the different tokens and give a little bit of a review. Again, hashtag no free ads, because he did send these to me for free. But on the same token, you see what I did there? I fucking hate myself. Fantastic. Fuck. But he did send me quite a few other things, and a lot of it's really nice. Don't you Mr. Burns me, you piece of shit.
Let the puns flow through you.
The hate is flowing. But yes, like, things like life counters. It's kind of just cool looking. And
like Dash one.
Yeah, they actually make Steam counters for Dash that have like Steam and shit. So very cool stuff. And thank you once again. I appreciate it. I'm fairly impressed with a lot of it. Some of it I'm still trying to make a little bit of sense of, because I know you said in your email to me that to ask you if there's any tokens that confuse me, but I am not. I got to try to figure it out myself first. And I'm failing in a little bit, but the abilities deactivated just made me giggle, because I'm like, yes, it's the size of a text box. This is perfect. But again, special thanks to you. And then also a special thanks to our patrons. Charmer.
Is it pulled up?
I have it pulled up. 2 in a row, baby. 2 in a row. No filibusters.
Wow.
So let's give a shout out to our associate producers, which are Andy, Kenny, and May. And then we have our executive producers and Possum supporters. I really should just get rid of that name, but I just can't.
No,
I just can't. But they are C-Dubs, Nick D, Josh. This is my favorite. Lance Goodthrust is a new patron. Just kind of fitting it right in. Matt 2Ts, Popo Mike, Rich, Ed, Philip, Taylor, and Trevor. If you're interested in becoming a patron of Flesh and Pod, you can go to patreon.com/fleshandpod. The link, as always, will be in the show notes. There are a bunch of tiers to choose from. I just keep changing. I'm off changing shit for a little while. But if you have ideas, you're more than welcome to reach out. I will be happy to examine them. Also, and this was up on Twitter. So if you don't, and this will, sadly, the venerable, I think, for lack of a better word, Jordan Kennedy, former host of Flesh and Pod, is actually doing a little bit of a newsletter type of thing called the Possum Papers. This is the free ad. This is the one free ad I'm ever going to do. And the first thing is up there. Jordan is actually a very talented writer, beyond being an incredible friend and wonderful human being and everything else. He's actually a very talented writer. And it would, I think anything that he writes, you should read. Just full stop. He could have wrote The Stoic with his eyes closed, which you're right. We did get another one in. Just making sure. Okay. We did get one in. So please seek out the Possum Papers. I believe that Abby D83 on Twitter will be tweeting those out as they come out. Plus also Jordan will be posting his work in our Discord in the other content. So please check it out. Again, our Discord link is in the show notes. You can also send us an email at fleshandpod@gmail.com, and we'd be more than happy to send you any information if you have any about how to get to Jordan's writings. Darick, where can they find you?
They can find me reading Jordan's blog, his posts, his whatever. I just want to say it's not technically hashtag no free ads because this is his show. I'm just substituting.
You've been substituting now for about 23 weeks.
Yeah, but I mean that's nothing. You know, I'm just Matt Castle, okay? Oof. And I will cede my starting role when the goat returns. Anyway, yeah. You can find me. I'm Charmer. That's Charm3R on Twitch, on YouTube, and I'm that Charmer on Twitter and just about every other social media platform. And then I'm in the Flesh and Pod Discord, participating in wacky shenanigans. So you can always ping me there as well.
There's a lot of stupid shit that happens in that Discord. Not gonna lie, it's a lot of stupid shit. You can also find me at Logan Peterson on Twitter, at FleshPod on Twitter. I'm running the Flesh and Pod Twitter account there. Then also in our Discord, very active, usually talking shit to whoever wants or needs shit talked, which is pretty decent amount of people. You can also find me at the Pittsburgh Brawl coming up in a couple weeks, 3 weeks-ish, give or take. So come say hi if you're there. If you're in the speakeasy and you want to gamble on golf, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to take some swings, and probably tear like my rotator cuff or something because apparently I'll be using their equipment. But I don't think I have a whole lot else here. I think I checked it all off. Again, if you do have any complaints, please send them to Flesh and Pod Legal, subsidiary of Black Hole Legal, which is still the garbage can next to Jordan Kennedy's desk. I got nothing else. We haven't guest started anything this week. We haven't, right? Like we haven't done any of that. No, I think we've been pretty silent as far as that goes.
Yeah.
I did get it was great that somebody did compliment and say that they're very happy to get 2 episodes of Flesh and Pod last week because they just basically considered it what happened on Instant Speed to just be another episode of Flesh and Pod. They're not too far off. The show notes were roughly the same, as in basically non-existent. Well, actually, in Flake's case, absolutely non-existent. Did not send us a damn thing. We don't need it. We're professionals, as Darick said earlier. But I got nothing else. How about you, buddy?
No, I think we're good.
All right. Well, if that's it, we will talk to y'all next week. Bye.